So, all right, moving on to the NBA side of things. We did a quick at the beginning finals prediction, so there's that. But let's talk about a topic of conversation that's been going on for a while now, in the face of the NBA, and everybody's worried about who is going to be the face, after LeBron and Steph are gone. Because right now, until LeBron and Steph essentially retire, they are the face of the NBA, and so that it's been the question of who's going to take the mantle from there, who's going to take it over, and the media has wanted it to be Anthony Edwards, but the problem is, with being the face of the league, there's a lot of qualities that go into that, and winning happens to be one of them. And yes, Ant has been to back-to-back conference finals, but has been damn near swept in both of them. Do I think Ant has potential to be, face of the NBA? Yeah. Do I think we need to pump the brakes on just crowning him face of the league? Yeah. So now that poses, all right, who is it? Is it Shea? Is it Jokic? Is it Giannis? Before I go into who I think it will be, Doug, what are your thoughts?
See, this is kind of a weird time. LeBron's been in the league for so long, and it was right after Jordan retired in 2002 or whatever it was, 2002 or whatever. So, I mean, LeBron pretty much he was the face. I mean, he was the
So I would say
one, right? I mean,
yeah, I would say in our lifetime, the faces of the NBA has been, we were at the tail end of Jordan. So there's
Kobe.
been Jordan. Then it was Kobe and Shaq.
Right.
Then it was LeBron and then Steph.
But then like Steph and LeBron kind of like did it together almost.
Yeah, they're doing it. They're doing just like Kobe and Shaq
Kobe
did it
and
together.
Shaq. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then LeBron was on his way up.
Yeah, the face of the league doesn't have to be just one person. Like it can be two. I don't think you can just say it's this group of five, but it can be.
Yeah, the thing like with Kobe and Shaq was that they were just so good together and so fun to watch. I mean that was pretty unique. Yeah. But I think after LeBron's done, Steph will still be around, and Steph will do Steph things for a little bit longer. I think
I don't know. I'm not saying that, and I doubt it, but that trajectory that LeBron's on. I mean, we don't. For all we know, Steph may retire before LeBron.
I'm pretty sure LeBron announced he's retiring, right?
No, that was not real.
Are you sure? I just Googled it. Maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, no. So real quick, and Doug, I guess fell for this too.
It would make sense for him to retire after next season or after this next season.
Yeah, he's not. So,
okay, let's just, regardless of the fact.
Yeah.
Even if LeBron doesn't retire, he's kind of on the down slope anyway. He's almost done. It's kind of like where Jordan was, like when LeBron was coming up. I think this is a weird situation only because there's not that one person that was that dominant. Like, I guess Jokic would be the closest thing, but I just don't see him being the face of the league. It's not like his personality.
Yeah, you got to have the personality to do it.
To me, I think the face of the league could be Ant. He has the personality for it. I mean, he's a pretty damn good player. To me, I think that could be your next, face, whatever that means. It's different. I'm sure it's different for everybody, but it could just be a combination of Shea, Jokic, Ant, all those guys. I don't know.
So my thing is with the face of the league, there's a lot of different stuff. Listen, Kendrick Perkins saying the other day, part of the qualifications of being a face of the NBA is being a family man and stuff. Yeah, that I don't.
Yeah, because he was saying that Ant couldn't do that because he's
got
an odd
situation. I don't care what you're doing at home, to be honest. Now, obviously, I don't want you in all kinds of allegations, obviously, but
Jordan had all kinds of weird shit going on.
Yeah, but just not having a wife and kids, I don't care. So with the face of the league, we said, obviously Jordan, Shaq, Kobe, Bron, Steph. There's always been those kind of like secondary people where we kind of said, they're kind of like, like AI. AI changed a lot in the NBA with, dress code, ball handling and stuff like that. But was never the face of the league. Tim Duncan was obviously really good, but he just never had the personality to be the face of the league.
I think that matters a lot.
Yeah, you have to have the personality. Dirk obviously was really good, but was never good enough to be face of the league. But and KD same way. KD's personalities kind of
Yeah.
hurt him from being face of the league.
Well, and LeBron and
Well,
Steph.
yeah.
But yeah.
So here's another qualification that I like to think about when I'm thinking face of the league, right? So we used to, me and you, and then our friend group, but we used to do, yearly like NBA trips, like where we would try to
Oh yeah.
like go to Indiana. We would, just because the Pacers are the closest one to us. We'd go to a Pacers game and like try to find specific teams coming into town that we'd want to go see. I think that's a qualification for face of the league. I should feel like I have to see you play in person. Like LeBron, like I feel like, obviously with, you being surrounded with people like me and Brandon and Matt who are LeBron, fanatics, we're always going to want to go see LeBron. But LeBron is still one of those people like where you're like, I have to go see him. He's in town.
Yeah.
Like he's in town, have to go see him. Steph Curry, he's in town, have to go see him. I don't feel that way about Anthony Edwards.
I don't feel like that.
I don't feel like that with Jokic. I don't feel like that with Shea. I don't feel like that with Giannis.
Yeah,
now, there's a difference in, do I want to see these players in terms of just to say I saw them? Yeah. But it's not a I have to see them feeling.
People used to come from China to watch Kobe play.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing that with.
There is one player in the NBA currently that fits the feel like I have to go see him, but he's got to figure out everything else, and it's Wemby. I feel like Wemby's got that aura around him where it's like he's in town. We gotta go see him.
7'6",
yeah,
and doing all this. Yeah,
for
sure.
But he's gonna have to put together the winning part of it. I feel like Wemby's got the personality on the. We just got to see it a little bit more. But he's obviously got the game. He's got we're going to see a little bit more of the personality as they probably pick it up, start winning a little bit more. But I think Wemby is our best chance. And I know everybody's big thing is they don't want, a non-American essentially to be the face of the NBA. But with the way basketball's gone and everything, like, sorry, there's in the top 10, there's more non-American players than there is American. Like, so Wemby to me has that quality of I have to go see him play. The one thing I didn't like is somebody brought up they were talking about this. They said, I feel like Wemby, we have to go see him play. He was selling out summer leagues and everything, and I was like, well, hold on. I was like, Bronny was selling out summer league too. We're not even going to consider Bronny face of the NBA. Lonzo Ball was selling out summer league. We weren't going to talk about Lonzo as face of the NBA. Now, there could have been a potential with Lonzo, but obviously injuries, everything else has just destroyed him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's Wemby. I think Ant has potential, obviously, to do it. Here's the other thing that people aren't realizing with face of the NBA as well. You're not going to do it in Minnesota.
Oh, it has to be definitely
you have to be in a big market, all right?
Yeah.
And your big markets in the NBA are any of the New York teams. I know Brooklyn sucks, but that's a big market, So any of your New York teams, Boston, LA. I feel like with LA, it's a little bit different. I feel like you got to be with the Lakers. The Clippers just don't have the same. So, I mean, if you want to make the argument, then only Knicks, sure. So we'll go Knicks, Celtics, Lakers, Miami.
Yeah, Heat.
Chicago, still a big market. Dallas is probably the biggest market in Texas, I would say.
Steph was the outlier.
But that's because Golden State became huge, and that was basketball and other reasons. I mean, Silicon Valley kind of.
Now, yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess the city-wise, it was pretty big,
but Silicon Valley becoming as big as it was, that kind of helped, propel that into a big market as well. But Golden State's a big market. So
you think because Wemby plays for San Antonio, that kind of hurts him a little bit for that type of
thing? Maybe. Now, the outlier would be if he starts winning like a lot, then we could probably look past that. And San Antonio is kind of still a big market because of what Tim Duncan and Pop and all them did. So they're still a relatively big market. It's bigger than
a lot of history.
It's bigger than Milwaukee. It's bigger than Denver. So, but. Yeah, because it has a lot of history. It's still a relatively big market. I would just say only Dallas has a bigger market only because it's Dallas.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to get to a big market. I would still say, I mean, it's not a big market NBA wise, but just like Atlanta too, just being in a bigger city, which I've always said could be a potential for Anthony Edwards because he's from Georgia. But yeah, to be the face of the league, you got to be on these bigger. You got to be on these bigger teams. You know, you go through the list of face of the NBA's. You know, Steph Curry, Golden State, LeBron, Miami. You know, went to Miami. Yeah, made his living pretty much in Cleveland for the most part, but went to Miami,
He
won.
went to Miami.
That's when it became
That took him into the next
and then
level.
now obviously with the Lakers.
Yeah,
You know, Kobe and Shaq with Lakers, Miami, and then Shaq with Miami, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jordan, Chicago, Magic, Bird, Boston, LA. You know, I would say, you know, you go back, you know, even further, Kareem, LA, but I wouldn't even say Kareem was ever really the face of the league because of Magic. That's just because of Magic. But like Dr. J, I would say at some point was probably a face of the NBA just because of the ABA NBA merger. Like he played in Philadelphia and Brooklyn. Like, so Philly, another add them to a big market. But I feel like you have to be on a big market team to also help with your face of the league cause because sorry, it's no disrespect to Minnesota, OKC, Denver, any of that, but they're not big market teams to move and really do much. So for me, you have to have the game, you have to have the personality, you have to have winning, you have to win, and then you have to have that we have to go see you factor, and then you have to be in a somewhat big market for me.
Yeah. So I just looked at CNBC's top NBA evaluations, the team's worth, pretty much. So I'm going to give you the top 10 here. Basically, you pretty much named almost all these teams anyway. But 10 was Dallas at $5 billion. That's their value. Miami Heat was at 9 with 5.1. Clippers at 5.4. The Celtics at 5.5. Brooklyn at 5.6. Houston at 5.7.
Also, so Houston's the big market in Texas.
Yeah, so that one kind of shocked me. That was the only one that pretty much shocked me. 4, so that was 5. 4 is Chicago at 5.8. Now here's where the jump is. So all of those, like the top 10, are within all in the fives. Like the top 10 to 4 is all within the fives. Here's what the jump is to 7 billion from 5.8, and that's the Lakers. And then to 7.5 billion is the Knicks. And then this is really shocking to me. I mean, I guess not now, but like the jump they did is Golden State's number 1 at 9.4 billion. That's wild to me. I mean, I know it's a lot of Silicon Valley money and it's in a good area, but
yeah,
to go from where they were like 15 years ago, that's wild.
And listen, I'm not going to say that you have to be in a big market because you could be an outlier that completely changes that. Like LeBron completely changed how the Cavs are looked at, you know.
Yeah, let's see where Cleveland is now. I mean, Cleveland's still 15.
Yeah, I mean,
that's still
Steph doing what he did for Golden State. You know, there's some outliers, but
you want to take a guess what the last one is?
The worst one? It's got to be like Utah or Charlotte.
Charlotte's close. Utah is 20.
Okay. So let's do
Pacers in the NBA Finals right now. They're 26 just because I guess Indy's
let's go
football more than basketball.
Let's say I'm going to go either Wizards or Trailblazers.
So the Wizards are actually 17. And they, this is money. And then what'd you say in the
Trailblazers?
Trailblazers they're 22.
All right. So then my last guess before I'll just tell you to give it to me would be the Pelicans.
Pelicans are 28.
Okay. So who's dead last?
Memphis. So there's 30, right?
Yeah, 30 NBA teams.
Okay. Just making sure that like this website wasn't crazy. Yeah. So Memphis is last at 3.2 billion. And then Minnesota's right above them at 29.
Yeah, see, it's not moving.
So like your John Morant, your Ants, and this type of thing, just doesn't make sense. But now San Antonio, where are they? Oh, they're 21st. I mean, middle of the pack. I mean, it's close to the middle of the pack. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe Golden State needs to bring somebody there when Steph leaves.
Yeah, I mean, you got to capitalize on it.
Or is it like Luka? Luka ends up being himself when LeBron retires.
I mean, it could be. I mean, it makes sense because he's already in LA, but he's gonna have to start. But we've already dived into this. You got to start taking like basketball a little bit more seriously.
I think he is. I mean,
well, from the pictures you've seen so far, I mean, he looks like he's already slimming down.
I'm sure LeBron's like, dude.
I remember. I think I saw it.
Get
It
your
said
shit together.
it was So for one, Luka was just on LeBron's podcast. So
No, I saw that.
this week's episode was Luka, LeBron, and Steve Nash. But I think I saw a thing. It said it was Luka, asking LeBron about his what he does, how he eats and everything, and going through all this. And he said the most shocking thing that I found out is that LeBron James has not had a burger in 15 years.
How true do we think that is?
Probably not. I mean, listen.
Like he says, he reads all them books for the games. Come on.
Yeah, and that motherfucker's never left off chapter
He
1.
brought that up on Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee was like, "Dude, you ain't reading all the books before the game."
Yeah, no. But I mean,
and maybe. I mean, diet is one of those things that for someone to play as long as he has.
well, and especially I
has to
think
be-
LeBron's on that doesn't eat red meat, so the burger
he's
thing
on-
could be real.
He's on that Tom Brady diet.
Yeah. So I mean, he could
get it.
not, but I mean, he's probably eating like veggie burgers and stuff.
Yeah, those don't count. Has to be red.
But yeah, but I mean, it could be.
You're telling me he don't eat a steak? Ugh.
Hey, listen, it's worked for him. So
Yeah, but I think
and it worked for Brady too.
I think if he had a steak, it'd be all right.
One's not gonna kill you, brother.
Well, I think at this age, especially at this age.
Well, now if he eats one, it probably would affect his body.
Yeah, he does have to. And Brady didn't do all this stuff until he was older either. So yes, when you start getting into that later 30s and then to your 40s, yeah, you for sure need to watch your diet, especially to perform at the level that they want. So I mean, LeBron's. I mean, I don't want to get off a tangent, but LeBron's longevity alone is insane. The fact that he's doing this at year 1,000 is wild.
Yeah. What he's doing at age
At the
41
level-
is wild.
At the level he's playing is the kicker there.
But yeah. So, like I said, I think face of the league right now is either, Wemby, potentially Ant, or it's just somebody we haven't seen yet. So we'll see. Could be Luka, but we'll
Makes
see.
sense.
So yeah, that's who I've got.